Good morning. Hello again, Year 7. Welcome back after the May half term. Can't believe you're nearly at the end of Year 7. You're almost Year 8. Hasn't that time gone quickly? Right, here comes our lesson for this week. You have got an option to do a practical activity at home again. You've also got some fun activities to do with the periodic table. If you can't find your planner with your periodic table in, remember there is one for you on Teams. Your do now is on the first slide here. You've got to have eagle eyes to spot the mistakes in the word equation that's written on this slide. Remember, you should pause the video to complete this activity. And here are the answers. Now, reactants and product were correctly identified. Brackets were fine, no problems there. But where you have carbon and oxygen, it should be carbon plus, because that's showing that they're being mixed together rather than they're just in the same space. Where it says turns into should not have an equals, it needs to have an arrow because there is a change occurring. And the arrow also shows the direction of change. It only points in one direction, so this is not a reversible reaction. It happens in one direction only. And because we started off with words, we need to finish with the word name for the product, carbon dioxide, not the chemical symbol. So I'm sure you all got all of those. You did. Put your hand in the air, bend the elbow, give yourselves a pat on the back now before moving on to the next part of our lesson. Now we have got 5 objectives today. We're going to learn some more about elements, including which way round groups and periods go. We're going to have some practice with periodic tables. That's what cracking the code is. We're going to know the 6 signs that a chemical reaction has occurred. We're going to know what exothermic and endothermic mean, a couple of examples of each. And by the end of the lesson, you will also, at the end of this week, you will also know the word equation for photosynthesis. You do not need to know all the chemical formulae, although you can learn them if you want to. You don't need to balance it. That will happen later on. Although, again, if you want to go further, of course you can. So, first things first, let's look at more about elements. You will need your periodic table either from your planner or from Teams. You can have it open in a second page on Teams. You can print it out, entirely up to you. It lists all the known elements. They're listed in order of their atomic number. The atomic number is the smaller number that you get in each square. You have the name of the element, you have the symbol of the element, you have the atomic number, you have the mass number. In normal atoms, that tells you how many protons, the atomic number, and in an ordinary atom, the number of protons equals the number of electrons, and that makes it a balanced atom with no overall charge, because remember, protons are positive, electrons are negative, they balance each other out, so there is no charge. The second number down the bottom is a bigger one, that's the mass number, easy to remember, the mass number is massive. That's the number of protons and neutrons together. That makes up the mass of the element. Electrons are there as well, but they have almost no mass. Obviously, they have some mass, but it's so small it doesn't affect the overall mass of an atom. And here we already know that lithium had 3 protons because that's what the atomic number tells us. Here's 6.941. That tells us there's different versions and it's close to 7, so we use 7 as the whole number. Now if there's 7 is the total mass, 3 of that is from protons, the other 4 has to be from neutrons by adding up. Quite straightforward. Now you have done that, you have a little table that you're going to do in a minute, but you need to remember, first of all, most elements are metals. Metals have electrons that are free to move during chemical reactions. See how the periodic table and chemical reactions are linking together here. That's why we need to know these things. Metals are on the left-hand side of your periodic table. Groups are vertical. That means they go up and down. They are in a column. So Ones that in a column together would be group 1, the next group 2, and so on. Periods go across the periodic table. And there is a table here to complete to show you can use your periodic table. Now, very kindly, the first row has been done for you. It tells you lithium has the symbol 7, 3. It doesn't matter which way around they go. The number of protons, the smaller number, is 3. Atomic mass is 7. Look on your periodic table, you'll see it's a group 1. Period means it's the second row down. The number of electrons in the outer shell is the same as the group, so it's 1. The number of electron shells is 2, the same as a period. Amazing how this helps us. Now have a look at the others. I have not put the answers on here. You can complete it in your team's notebook, or you can add it onto assignments. That'll be good. Now, we have got 6 signs that a chemical reaction has occurred. You may have an unexpected temperature change. That means you're not heating or cooling the mixture deliberately. Just the reaction happening has that effect. You might have bubbles. Bubbles show that a gas is being produced. And because it's being produced, you have got a gaseous. Look at this word. Slight change of spelling. You've got O-U-S, you'd expect. You've got an E there as well. You might not expect, so you have to learn that spelling. That's why it's in red. A gaseous product. There might be a smell. There might be a colour change, light may be given off, or a precipitate may form. A precipitate is a solid that is not dissolved in any of the liquids, and it means that there's a liquid part as well. It will look cloudy. Now, these are 6 signs of a chemical reaction. Linking back to last week's learning, were there any signs of a chemical reaction in the rusting investigation? I know some of you have already sent me answers to this, so I'm not going to tell the rest of you what the answer is. You can go back and check from your photos or from your practical if it's still on the go. You need to write these down because you need to know these, okay? 6 of them. Now, changing temperature is one of the signs of a reaction. It's the first one. Exothermic means it gives out heat. I like to remember that by exo is like exit. So it's giving out, going out, okay? Giving out heat because it's breaking bonds. When bonds break, energy is released and that makes the mixture hot. Examples of combustion, when you burn something. That's quite easy. Respiration. That's how our body produces energy. We need energy in our muscles when we're exercising. That makes us hotter. We all know if we exercise properly, we get hotter. If we're just walking along, keeping the same temperature, we're not exercising that hard. Endothermic is the opposite. It's going in. It needs to take in energy. And if it hasn't got that, it will get colder. Examples, photosynthesis is an endothermic reaction. Medical cold packs, the sort of thing you put on yourself when you've got a sprain or you've hurt yourself at football. Magic snow, which some of you may have had at Christmas. You have a powder, you mix some water in, and it, as well as increasing in volume, it actually feels cold to the touch. It's very similar to the thing in children's nappies, just without the wee. You need to know these examples, so please pause the video while you write them down. Right, you've got a video to watch next. The link will also be in Teams. It runs for 5 minutes. You've got 4 questions to answer, so I would recommend that you write the questions down first while this is paused here. Then you use the link to go to the YouTube video and answer the questions. You are going to obviously leave to the space between the lines where you write them down so that you've got a space for your answer. Now record the equation for photosynthesis. Remember, this is one of our objectives today, not to record it, but to learn it. You need to learn the word version. You don't need to know the symbols in Year 7, although you can go further and learn them if you're keen. You need to know where photosynthesis occurs. That is an organelle. So not where in the plant, where within a cell does it occur. How do gases enter and leave the plant? And how is excess glucose stored? Now I'm going to tell you the start of this video is a bit annoying, but actually the quality of the information in it is good. So please do try to get through the annoying little start bit. Thanks, guys. Right, go further. These are for my keen science buffs who've got a bit more time on their hands, especially if you've got access to a garden. If you have got a plant you can use at home, and please do check with your parents before choosing their favourite plant. Either move the plant inside a dark cupboard for 2 to 3 days, or if you're choosing a plant in the garden, cover up one of the leaves on the plant and check after 2 to 3 days. And if you want to cover the leaf, I would suggest you use something like tin foil, because you can press that into shape and then you will be able to remove it later without damaging the plant. The plant inside the cupboard or the leaf that has been covered on the plant in your garden, leave it 2 or 3 days and then go back and have a look at the colour of the leaf. How has it changed? Now, you might have a really good memory, or you might want to take a photograph. Then you can have a look at the before and after photos. Why has the colour changed or not changed, and what have you demonstrated? This will link back to your photosynthesis video you have just watched. So that is your first part of your Go Further. But hey guys, there's more. You're so lucky. Now, you have got more things you can do. Periodic table fun. If you haven't got a garden, you can still have fun with science. I have put up a sheet that's both on Go for Schools and Teams. It's called Cracking the Code. It is activities to do with your periodic table to give yourself practice at reading it and finding information from it. I'm very kind today because it's just been half-term holidays. I'm including the answers as well. This does mean if you're feeling a little bit lazy, you can just copy them in, but then you will not have done much learning. That's not going to be very good for you. So please have a go at doing it and check. The answers are there really, so you can check as you're going and see, yeah, I'm getting this right. I've got this. I'm good to carry on. There is a link to BBC Bite Size about a photosynthesis practical we would do if we were at school. And this involves having some weed in water and a light and capturing the oxygen. Obviously not something you can necessarily do at home. And then if you're feeling really clever, there is also a quiz that you can do on Bite Size to show that you have really understood photosynthesis. And you might be thinking, why is Miss going on so much about photosynthesis? It's just plants and they're a bit boring. But actually, without photosynthesis, nothing on this planet would be alive, because the producers are the start of every single food chain. And even if you don't eat lettuce and you think you just love to eat burgers, you still need photosynthesis to feed those cows that become the burgers. And as I say, there really would be no life on Earth without photosynthesis. That's why it's so important. That's why we're learning about it. Now, I would really, really, really like you to put your work onto Teams through the assignments area, because if you do that, I have a little feedback box and I can get back to you so quickly, and it stays there for you. It's not like an email where you're going to have to think in 2 weeks' time, which day did Miss send that message? What was it she said? It will be there for you on Teams to find. So if we can use Teams, that's really great. If you get stuck, message me. I'm still here to help you. Don't get rid of me too easily. But most of all, stay safe. And remember, if it's sunny, put the sun cream on as well as keep your social distancing. See you soon, Year 7. Bye for now.